So Donald Trump took to Truth Social, and he was talking about radical left judges and how if they were to side against his tariff plan at this late date, that it would be impossible to recover. They couldn't, pay back all the money, and they would stop all this wealth creation and all of this. And then said, well, if they were going to rule against my tariff plan, they should have done so long ago. Well, first of all, there's a lot of things wrong with that. One, it's not a radical left judge if they rule against it. The courts are supposed to be impartial. Now, some judges do get things wrong, but they are looking at it, and they're looking at the laws of this case. And the statute Donald Trump is trying to use to justify him having broad tariff authority does not have the word tariff in it at all. And specifically, the Constitution says Congress has the power to lay duties, which is what a tariff is. So there is a constitutional question here. Now, whether or not Donald Trump has the authority, and should it have been done long ago, well, that is a question that needs to be answered. As far as the long ago part, nobody up until this term of Donald Trump being president has tried to use the sweeping presidential authority that Donald Trump is giving himself by his interpretation of how this law works. So there's no reason it should have been decided long ago, because it was never an issue until now. And court cases take a while. Now, there is an appeals court that is looking at a ruling from a lower court, the International Court of Trade, that ruled Donald Trump did not have tariff power. But that decision has been put on hold while the appeal is playing out. Now, after this appeals court rules, it will ultimately go to the Supreme Court, because either side is going to appeal this. Neither side is going to be happy until the Supreme Court makes a final decision. And I think even this Supreme Court is going to side against the Trump administration. Now, if they do, there are some other statutes that I'm hearing bits and pieces of, I'm not 100% familiar with, that they could maybe try to do and still put the tariffs on. But ultimately, then they would have to go back to Congress, I believe, and get Congress to approve these deals and these tariffs and everything. And that would be hard to do, because you'd have to get around the filibuster, and Democrats aren't going to agree to these tariffs. So Donald Trump is panicking because of the courts saying he doesn't have this authority that nobody else believes he actually has, other than himself and his supporters. We'll see how the courts rule on this. Like I said, ultimately going to end up before the Supreme Court. But I can tell Donald Trump is worried they're going to rule against him.